Hey everybody, welcome back. Johnny B here with devslopes.com, and we're going to get going here, and we're going to create our login screen. So the idea is that anybody can get on to the app and check out food trucks, and they can view the reviews. But if they want to add a review, or eventually we're going to have a button here on the front screen where you can add a food truck, you have to be logged in. So when they click on if they click on the add review or add a food truck button and they are not logged in, then it's going to take them directly to the login screen. Then they'll log in, put their email and password, and then from then on, they won't have to log in anymore, all right? So first we're going to just set up the login activity, and that should be pretty quick. We're going to use one of the templates. So here in the activities, I'm going to right click and say new activity, login activity, and I'm going to call it login activity and finish. And that'll pop up for us, and we can check out our resources. And we now have in our layout folder, hold on, what's going on? In our resources in the layout, we have a activity login. And we got some rendering problems, and that's okay. It'll look better when there we go, fixed itself. All right, and let's check out our login activity, Java, and we have a whole big file. All right, so this is a pretty involved template. We're not going to need a lot of this, so we're going to come through here, and we are going to just tear it apart and only use the stuff that we actually want. Okay, so first off, we don't really care about getting permission to request access to their contacts. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of dummy credentials. We're going to get rid of mauth task, on create, on editor action, button email sign in. Okay, we don't care about requesting contacts, so this whole function we're going to get rid of, and which means we can get rid of the populate autocomplete, which means we can get rid of this, and we don't care about requesting permissions, attempts to sign in a user, that's fine, we can get rid of that. And so this is where we attempt the login, and when we click on the login button, and we're going to get rid of this, and this is where we are going to put our code in once we write it. Right here is email valid, return email.contains, so that's fine. This is just validating whether the email is a valid, and this validates whether it's a valid password. So we're requiring the password to be greater than 4 characters. That's fine. We want the progress UI to show, so we're going to keep that. We aren't using the create loader at all because we aren't adding emails to autocomplete, so we don't need any of this about loaders. We don't care about profile query. We don't care about that. Pretty much everything from here on we can delete. All right, not to say that that's not good code or anything, it's just not super necessary for our simple login activity that we're doing right here. And then because we got rid of all that callback stuff, I'm gonna delete the implements. And I'm gonna save that, and then check out what we got. So now we got a very basic, or a more basic login screen, but still does everything that we need it to do. So right here is where we're going to write our code, but we're not going to get to that in this lecture. This is just going to be a quick one just to set up our login activity, as well as our quick transition from our food trucks detail, where you add food trucks, from our detail activity to our login. So once we get the login screen working, we'll set up some logic checks to when we click on the add review or the add food truck, it'll say, we'll have a check to say, are we logged in? If yes, continue on to the screen you are going to. If not, redirect to the login screen and then dismiss it. But right now, all we're going to do is go directly to the login screen, since that's all we can do right now. So we're going to say public void, and I'm going to say load login. And we don't need to pass any information to it. And we're just going to say intent equal to new intent. And we are coming from the food truck detail activity dot this, and we are headed to the login activity dot class. And then I'm just going to say start activity intent and pass in the intent. And then up here we need a listener for our add review button. So I'm going to say add review button dot set on click listener new view. That should have auto completed for me. Dot on click listener. Come on, hold on. All right, let's try this again. New view. There we go. And I'm going to say load login. I'm going to save that. And let's run that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Joe's Barbecue and click on Add Review. And we have stopped. We have an error. And what is our error? Unable to find explicit activity. Have you declared this activity in your Android manifest? Well, let's go check it out. That's interesting. I have never seen this happen before. So it looks like when it created the login activity, it did not correctly add it here. So I'm going to say activities, login activity. Get rid of that. Whoops. There we go. Save that. That's odd. And let's go ahead and rerun that. Probably didn't happen for you. I don't know why I didn't import that correctly. All right, let's try that again. All right, food truck, Joe's Barbecue, add review. Hey, there we go. So there's our sign in. And remember those checks that we tried? So I'm going to make it more than past 6 characters, but it should say, yep, this email address is invalid. So then I'm going to add a john@johnny.com, but then I'm going to make the password shorter than less than 5 characters, and should say this password is too short. So those were those validations that I showed you that were part of the template. Pretty cool. And yeah, so we got ourselves a nice little login activity here that we are going to be using. And so in the next videos, we're going to be going through the actual API calls for registration and login, and we'll be returning authentication tokens and some real cool stuff. All right, so we'll see you in the next one.